Canada will continue voting by first past the post for the foreseeable future, but Canadians can still voice their support or their frustration for the parties by casting their vote on Election Day. For Global News, I'm Sean Previl. The federal government is studying the impact eating disorders have had on Canadians during the pandemic, but the delivery of treatment is still up to provinces and territories, and that support is a patchwork of help, leading some patients to seek private care or go out of province, creating more delays. What's unusual about the law is state officials are barred from enforcing it, but private citizens can sue anyone who helps someone get an abortion, from medical providers to relatives or even an Uber driver who takes them to the clinic. Your first step at joining the Eastern Watchman is going to Lightsaber Halifax on Facebook. So, why not give it a try? One thing all three entrepreneurs agree on is there is opportunity here in Windsor. It just takes a bit more digging to find it. Well, Sean, it was the debut of the Confidential Musical Theatre Project in Windsor, and judging by the crowd, the mystery of the unknown was welcomed. Are you looking to brush up on your automotive knowledge? The Windsor Public Library has a new historical exhibit for you. Kenneth Bullock reports. The Ontario government has announced that beer is now being sold in grocery stores. The Real Canadian Superstore on Walker Road is one of the first locations. John Carvello, the store's manager, says it's about time grocery stores sold beer. On this sunny evening, let's go down to the corner of University in Victoria where Alana Wills is standing by. Alana? A group of doctors gave a seminar recently to minority groups about the risk and prevention methods of cancer. Reporter David Dyke tells us more. As the world fights COVID-19, 15-year-old Jay Foley is also fighting their own life-threatening illness, anorexia nervosa.
Like everything kind of started when COVID happened because there was the mixture of, I don't like the way I am at the moment, and the world is ending.
Jay and their parents started looking for help last March. After waiting more than a year, they will begin an eating disorder program at the end of June. The BC family's story is not unique. During COVID-19, healthcare professionals have been warning of a shadow pandemic.
I think it is a storm of factors, if you will.
Dr. Deborah Katzman is with Toronto's Sick Kids Hospital. She says there's no single cause for the surge in eating disorders, but COVID restrictions are a factor.
With school closures, there's a lack of routine. There's reduction of extracurricular activities, which kids really rely on, both socially and also for increased activity to get out of the house.
Recent data from Sick Kids shows admissions for eating disorders increased by 55% between July 2020 and March 2021 compared to the previous reporting period. And it's not only in Ontario.
Really clear to me how much kids as young as 10, 11, 12 understand the mental health issues that are around them and are having difficulties navigating conversations around food or having conversations about weight.
The National Eating Disorder Information Centre operates Canada's All Ages Helpline. Its online chat recorded a 52% increase in use in May 2020 compared to 2019. This past year, that rose to 80%. Ari Maharaj works with the organization. He says talks of reopening and vaccines may be a reason for the spike.
Many people who might have been struggling over the course of the last 15 months are finally feeling comfortable that they can reach out.
For Jay and their mother Pam, the wait for help is over, hoping the road to recovery is about to begin.
It's not fun living in a constant state of questioning myself and then getting questioned by what feels like myself.
Sean Previl, Global News. Anger and outrage in Texas and across the United States Wednesday after a controversial state law took effect, making it much more difficult for a woman to get an abortion. The new law bans all abortions, even in cases of rape, after a fetal heartbeat is detected, which is often around 6 weeks, before some women even know they're pregnant. Late Wednesday, the U.S. Supreme Court refused to block the law in a 5-4 vote, but did not rule on whether it was constitutional, leaving the door open for future challenges. At abortion clinics like Whole Women's Health, one of the busiest in Fort Worth, Texas, the parking lot now sits empty.
And of the few patients we have seen today, we cannot continue to see them because their ultrasounds made them ineligible for procedures today.
It's forcing those in Texas to travel to other states. The law was signed in May by Republican Governor Greg Abbott, who said it was about saving lives.
Millions of children lose their right to life every year because of abortion. In Texas, we work to save those lives.
Anti-abortion groups see the law as a victory.
We think elective abortion is an act of injustice. We believe that it is a bigger, stronger party violently taking the life of a smaller, weaker party.
What's unusual about the law is state officials are barred from enforcing it, but private citizens can sue anyone who helps someone get an abortion, from medical providers to relatives or even an Uber driver who takes them to the clinic. And it has Republican lawmakers in some states looking to introduce similar bills modeled after what Texas has done. It's the latest battle over abortion rights in the United States since the landmark Roe v. Wade Supreme Court case in 1973, which legalized abortion in all 50 states. President Joe Biden promised his administration would do what it can to ensure Texas women have access to abortion.
The most pernicious thing about the Texas law, it sort of creates a vigilante system. And it just seems, I know this sounds ridiculous, almost un-American, what we're talking about.
And on Thursday, the White House defended Biden's support for women's rights.
Who does he believe then should look out for the unborn child?
He believes that it's up to a woman to make those decisions and up to a woman to make those decisions with her doctor. I know you've never faced those choices, nor have you ever been pregnant.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi said the House would vote later this month on a bill to protect abortion access. The Supreme Court will hear arguments this fall on Mississippi's own abortion law and its request to overturn Roe v. Wade. If the court's conservative majority allows that law to stand, it could give other states more leeway on how and when abortions are performed. And if the court overturns the landmark case, some states may be poised to ban nearly all abortions. Sean Previl, Global News. Emotional family members gathered outside New Delhi hospital Saturday after they say their loved one with COVID-19 died due to a lack of oxygen. A story becoming all too common as India deals with a tsunami of coronavirus infections. The country saw a third consecutive daily record with 346,786 cases reported. The capital Friday recorded the equivalent of one death from COVID-19 every 5 minutes. My husband died just for the lack of oxygen, this woman says. They told me his heart failed. How can 22 to 23 people die like that at the same time? They have no shame. Do you know how a human being dies without oxygen? Have you seen a fish out of water? This man who lost his wife asks. Health experts say India became complacent in the winter with case rates appearing under control, prompting officials to lift some restrictions on large gatherings. Some also say variants, including one first detected in the country, may be part of what is driving the surge. The government has deployed military planes and trains to get oxygen to Delhi both from inside India and overseas. People from private hospitals, isolation centers, and even individuals with empty cylinders queued outside one plant in hopes of getting some oxygen for patients. One hospital worker says he has been trying to get cylinders of oxygen for 3 days. Plants are scaling up production to try and meet demands, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with officials to review steps taken to boost oxygen availability. India says it will be expanding its vaccine program to all adults, approximately 900 million people. Officials in both Canada and the US say they have been in talks with their Indian counterparts discussing ways to help. However, there are no details yet on any possible action. Sean Previl, Global News.